Okay guys, so a few of you wanted to know how to do a short row toe. Ignore the toe, this is my last toe. You get your needles, I use Magic Loop. And you hold these here. And then you want to use Judys Magic caster. Now there's tons of videos for this, but since we're doing the whole thing anyway, we may as well start from the beginning. So you've got your tail, and you've got your working yarn here. And this is just to confuse you, because I've got another toe on the go. So you want your tail over your top finger, and you want your working yarn, the bit that attaches to the ball, over your bottom finger, and that's where you sort of put them round and twisted them. And you want to take this bottom yarn, put it up through the middle, over the top and down the back, and you want to take this top yarn and put it under the bottom and through the middle. Now that's just how you keep going, so you've got 3 now. So your bottom one, up through the middle, over the top, your top one, under the bottom and through the middle. Bottom one through the middle over the top, top one, under and through the middle. Bottom, through and over, top, under, through the middle. And you just keep going like that until you've got however many stitches you need. Again, bottom one on your thumb, through the middle, over the top, top one on your finger, under the bottom, over the middle. Through, over, under, through, over, under, back, forward, over, under, back. You keep them sort of like this. You've got your bottom, which is the one that goes to the ball, and the top, which is the tail, top for tail. Thumb, up through the middle, over the top, finger over the bottom, back through the middle. You just keep going and they pile up like this. Just keep going. And then once you're done, they'll look sort of just, they look like this on the front, and then on the back you can see they've got wee bumps joining them. Got 42, 4, 6. I need 10 more. We will get them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, nearly. 9, 10. Right, there we go. So this is still my tail and this is still my top, but I'm just giving them a little twist to hold them in place. And then what you want to do is turn this over to face the way you're knitting, and that was your last one, that's your loose one on the bottom. So what we want to do is just keep that nice and tight together, and we pull the bottom needle out and pop it into the top. And in order to keep, because if you let that go it's just going to unravel, so what you want to do is use both these strands to knit that first stitch. And then, which one's the tail? Right, that one's the tail. Put that far away. You want to knit with your working yarn and your working yarn right over to the edge. You're doing a full row. So that bottom row is now being held on the cable, which is absolutely fine. Right, so you're approaching the edge, and for, as I said, for this first one, you just knit right to the end. Don't worry about it. So you've knit to the end. Turn it around now. This is your first purl row, and this is where you start to do your wrap and turns. So you want to slip the first stitch, and then you want to purl right over until you're one stitch from the end. A bit closer, is that easier? I'm just being lazy and leaning on the table. I've got to hook the whole way around my mouse and back again. Wonderful, how did I even manage? Okay. So 2 stitches left. You want to ignore this wee last one. And with this one, you want to wrap it and turn. So if you put your yarn through to the back, slip this onto this needle, bring your yarn through again, and then pick up that stitch. Sorry for the jumping about. That's you wrap that stitch. You see the way it's wrapped around it? Now you simply turn. And you just want to knit back to the other side. So after you've wrapped, you want to slip a stitch. Like so. And then we're going to knit back and we're going to do the same on the other side, on the right side this time. Okay, so you've got your second last stitch from the end. Ignore your end one. You've got your second last from the end. And to wrap on the right side, you bring the yarn forward. Yeah, bring the yarn forward, slip that stitch over, put the yarn back, and put the stitch back again. And again, you can see that you've got your wrap around the bottom of that there. And then you turn. So that's your first 2 rows down. Now, your next one is slightly different. So as before, you're fine, you turn, you slip, you start purling. But this time, instead of going like doing the stitch 1 from the end, what you want to do this time is the stitch 1 from your wrap, which will of course be your slipped one. So once we go over a bit, I'll show you how you can see it coming. Apart from, you could just count in, so last time you did the second from the end, this time you do the third from the end. I tend to lose count. So I'll show you how you can see which one you're on. So you're getting close to the end. I mean, you know you're doing this, that's just a double because I knitted with both strands. So you know you're doing the third one this time. But if you didn't know which one you were doing, I'll see if I can show you. So they'll be held really close together because what you've done is wrapped that one. You can see the wrap there. And then slipped one, so it's not actually been knitted. So it's going to hug quite close to this one. So you look for the one that's been wrapped, and it's the one right next to it, that one there. So we've got one more to purl. Okay, and this time, as you can see, you wrapped this first one here. So this time you want to wrap this slipped one next to it. So as before, you put your yarn to the other side, pull that stitch across, bring your yarn back, and pull the stitch over again. And you've wrapped another one. So now you can see your wrapped one start to layer. So there you've got wrap number 1, you've got wrap number 2, and you just turn. And what we do is we go to the other side, so hang on. Make sure you don't mix your tail up with where you're working yarn, you get very disappointed when you get to the other side. So you've wrapped, you want to slip, and then you want to keep knitting. And again, this time on the right side, and you're looking for the stitch before your last wrapped stitch, which is your slipped one. Again, you can count, so we know that this should be the third one from the end, because we did the second one from the end last time. But I'll show you how to look for it, because we can't all keep numbers in our heads, especially me. Right, so you can see this again, so that's your little wrap stitch there, you can see that wrap around it. And your slipped one's next to it. Also on the back you can see the wrap as well, so see it there? Got your little wrap. Some people put a bit of thread in each of these wraps just so that they can see them better. It definitely really helped me when I was starting, but they just get in my way now. So I've got to that slipped one. You also notice the wrap that leaves a bit of gap. So there's your wrap. This is your slipped one from last time, and we wrapped the slipped one. So bring the yarn to the other side, put the stitch over, put the yarn back to where it was, and bring your stitch back again. That's your wrapped another one. Again, you can see your wee wrap around it. Alright, so you turn, and you go back to the purl side. Sorry it's getting dark. It was light when I started this, and I've taken so long. And it's Scotland, so you know. Again, you've wrapped, so you slip the one next to it, and you keep going. Now I would say you do this so you've got 9 wrapped stitches on each side. Some people do it more, some people do it less. It totally depends as well on how long you want your toe to be, how much of a sort of slant you want on your toe. I just tend to do 9 because I do. Right, so you're coming up to the end again. And this time you know it'll be the 4th one from the edge just because of maths. But you can also check it and see, so you've got that little slip from the wrap from the first one. You can see, sorry I've pulled these a bit tight for you. That's your wrap from the second one, and that's your slipped one nestled in nice and close to it. So I'm going to purl that one. Again, maths will tell you it's the 1, 2, 3 from the edge because you did 2 from the edge last time, so you can just keep a tally if it's easier. But you can recognise that. I mean, that's a wrap, and you want to do the one before it. So again, your yarn was at the front because you're purling, so you put it to the back. You slip that next stitch over, put your yarn back to where it was, and you put the stitch over, and you've wrapped another one, so you've got 1, 2, 3 wraps now. Again, you've wrapped, so you slip, and then you knit to the end again. So what you're doing is your rows are actually getting shorter each time because you're coming to the top of your toe. And you think, oh, how is this going to work? But it does, it does. It's magic. It's a toe type of magic. Again, when you're at the end, again you can see your gap because you wrapped that one. You can also, if I put this into focus, you can also see your wrap. And again, it's the 1, 2, 3rd one from the end because that's the 3rd set that we're on. So you're wrapping, so you bring your yarn to the other side from where it was, pull your stitch over, put your yarn back to where it was before, and pull your stitch back again. So now you've got a 3rd wrap. Because you've wrapped, you slip, and then you're just purling back again. Now, as I said, you've now done 3, you want 9 altogether. So I'll do another one, and then I'll let you crack on, and then I'll show you what happens once you get to the top of the toe. I don't think there's anything else, is there? Oh, there we go, I've dropped one. I thought I was doing so well. What am I doing? Got really good at picking up drop stitches because I do it all the time. There we go. And again, that's us back at the end. You can see quite obviously that's our wrapped one. This was our slipped one, which we want to wrap this time. So yarn was at the front, we put it to the other side. Stitch over, yarn back to where it was before, and pull the stitch back again. And you've now wrapped a fourth one. Alright, one more time. And then I'll leave you to do 9 sets of those, one each side? 9 sets of one each side, that'll do. Again, you've just wrapped, so you slip. Almost at the end. You can see from the gap and from the wrap that that was your wrapped one. You can also count, you want to do your fourth one this time because it's your fourth set. Bring the yarn to the front. Wrap that last slip stitch. Put the stitch back again. And then you're going to turn and you're going to keep going. So you've got 9 of these little wrapped ones.